Peace and blessings to you. Today, we are going to do something a little different. We are not going to rush. We are not going to skim the surface. We are going to take a long, slow walk together down a path of wisdom. It is a path with 11 gates, and behind each gate is a secret to the alchemy of health, the way our bodies, minds, and the food we eat can work together in perfect harmony. Our guide on this journey will be the humble blueberry, but the lessons we uncover apply to everything we welcome into our bodies. We are often told what to eat, but we are rarely taught how to think about eating. We are given lists of good and bad foods, but we are not given the wisdom to understand the relationships between them. This is what we will explore today. This will take some time, so I invite you to get comfortable, quiet your mind, and join me. Let us open the first of the 11 gates. Let us begin with a story. Imagine a village that thrives on the banks of a beautiful, clear river. The river brings life, irrigates the fields, provides clean water, and carries away waste. The villagers are vibrant and healthy because the river is pure. Now, imagine a factory is built upstream, and it begins to dump thick, sweet molasses into the water. At first, it might not seem so bad, but day after day, the river becomes slower, stickier. The vibrant current turns into a sluggish ooze. Debris that was once washed away now gets caught on the banks. The water becomes cloudy, and life along the river begins to wither. The villagers' fields are no longer nourished, and sickness begins to spread. My dear friends, this village is your body. That river is your bloodstream, and that molasses is refined sugar. When you take a food as pure and life-giving as a blueberry, and pair it with a sugary cereal, a muffin, a sweetened drink, or a commercial yogurt loaded with high fructose corn syrup, you are pouring molasses into your inner river. Modern science has a name for this process: glycation. It's a complex word for a very simple and rather destructive idea. Think of it as a kind of slow, internal caramelization. When there is too much sugar in your bloodstream, the excess sugar molecules begin to latch onto proteins and fats, creating new, harmful molecules. These are called, appropriately, advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. These AGEs are stiff, sticky, and inflammatory. They are like grit and sludge in your body's machinery. They cause the walls of your arteries, your riverbanks, to become brittle and inflexible. Where does this damage show up the most? In the most delicate and tiny streams of your river system, the capillaries. And where are the most important capillaries? In your eyes, your kidneys, your brain, and the nerves in your hands and feet. The stickiness in the blood prevents oxygen and nutrients from reaching these delicate tissues. The cells of the retina, which require immense energy and pristine blood flow to give you the gift of sight, begin to starve. This is the deep, underlying cause of so many conditions, from diabetic retinopathy to macular degeneration. It is the slow withering of a garden that is no longer being properly watered. Blueberries arrive with their own beautiful team of protectors. The antioxidants, called anthocyanins. Their job is to protect the riverbanks from damage. But when you flood the system with sugar, you create an emergency, a raging fire of inflammation and free radicals that completely overwhelms this small, dedicated team. It's like sending a single firefighter to battle a forest fire. So, I invite you to become a guardian of your own inner river. When you look at a food label, do you see ingredients that will flow freely? Or do you see molasses in disguise? Corn, syrup, dextrose, maltodextrin, cane juice, these are all names for sugar. Does the nourishment you seek truly lie in that fleeting moment of sweetness? Or does it lie in the long-term health of a clear and vibrant inner river? The choice, as always, is a quiet and powerful one you make with every meal. Asterisk, asterisk, peace and blessings to you. Today, we are going to do something a little different. We are not going to rush. We are not going to skim the surface. We are going to take a long, slow walk together down a path of wisdom. It is a path with 11 gates, and behind each gate is a secret to the alchemy of health, the way our bodies, minds, and the food we eat can work together in perfect harmony. Our guide on this journey will be the humble blueberry, but the lessons we uncover apply to everything we welcome into our bodies. We are often told what to eat, but we are rarely taught how to think about eating. We are given lists of good and bad foods, but we are not given the wisdom to understand the relationships between them. This is what we will explore today. This will take some time, so I invite you to get comfortable, quiet your mind, and join me. Let us open the first of the 11 gates. Let us begin with a story. Imagine a village that thrives on the banks of a beautiful, clear river. The river brings life, irrigates the fields, provides clean water, and carries away waste. The villagers are vibrant and healthy because the river is pure. Now, imagine a factory is built upstream, and it begins to dump thick, sweet molasses into the water. At first, it might not seem so bad, but day after day, the river becomes slower, stickier. The vibrant current turns into a sluggish ooze. Debris that was once washed away now gets caught on the banks. The water becomes cloudy, and life along the river begins to wither. The villagers' fields are no longer nourished, and sickness begins to spread. My dear friends, this village is your body. That river is your bloodstream, and that molasses is refined sugar. When you take a food as pure and life-giving as a blueberry, and pair it with a sugary cereal, a muffin, a sweetened drink, or a commercial yogurt loaded with high fructose corn syrup, you are pouring molasses into your inner river. Modern science has a name for this process: glycation. It's a complex word for a very simple and rather destructive idea. Think of it as a kind of slow, internal caramelization. When there is too much sugar in your bloodstream, the excess sugar molecules begin to latch onto proteins and fats, creating new, harmful molecules. These are called, appropriately, advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. These AGEs are stiff, sticky, and inflammatory. They are like grit and sludge in your body's machinery. They cause the walls of your arteries, your riverbanks, to become brittle and inflexible. Where does this damage show up the most? In the most delicate and tiny streams of your river system, the capillaries. And where are the most important capillaries? In your eyes, your kidneys, your brain, and the nerves in your hands and feet. The stickiness in the blood prevents oxygen and nutrients from reaching these delicate tissues. The cells of the retina, which require immense energy and pristine blood flow to give you the gift of sight, begin to starve. This is the deep, underlying cause of so many conditions, from diabetic retinopathy to macular degeneration. It is the slow withering of a garden that is no longer being properly watered. Blueberries arrive with their own beautiful team of protectors. The antioxidants, called anthocyanins. Their job is to protect the riverbanks from damage. But when you flood the system with sugar, you create an emergency, a raging fire of inflammation and free radicals that completely overwhelms this small, dedicated team. It's like sending a single firefighter to battle a forest fire. So, I invite you to become a guardian of your own inner river. When you look at a food label, do you see ingredients that will flow freely? Or do you see molasses in disguise? Corn, syrup, dextrose, maltodextrin, cane juice, these are all names for sugar. Does the nourishment you seek truly lie in that fleeting moment of sweetness? Or does it lie in the long-term health of a clear and vibrant inner river? The choice, as always, is a quiet and powerful one you make with every meal. I want you to picture, for a moment, two business partners. On her own, the first partner is a brilliant visionary. She is creative, full of powerful ideas, and has a proven track record of success. On his own, the second partner is a master strategist. He is grounded, practical, and incredibly effective at managing resources and getting things done. Separately, they are pillars of strength. Anyone would be thrilled to have either of them on their team. But something curious happens. When they are in the same room together, their energies, for some reason, clash. The visionary's brilliant ideas are seen as too risky by the strategist. The strategist's practical concerns are seen as limiting by the visionary. Instead of progress, there is a stalemate. Meetings end in frustration. Good ideas get locked away in a filing cabinet, never to be acted upon. No one is at fault. No one is a bad partner. They are simply, for reasons of their own nature, incompatible when working on the same task at the same time. This same curious dynamic can happen right inside our own bodies, with foods that are on their own paragons of health. Let us take our guide, the blueberry, our brilliant visionary, and pair it with a handful of almonds or walnuts, our master strategist. Both are gifts from nature, packed with life force and nourishment. But when they enter our digestive system, together they can inadvertently create a hidden blockade. Here is the ancient secret behind it. Plants, in their immense wisdom, want to survive and reproduce. A nut or a seed is a plant's baby, a perfect package of potential for a future generation. To protect this precious life, the plant equips it with a defense system. Nuts, seeds, and grains are full of a compound called phytic acid, or phytates. You can think of phytates as overly protective parents. Their job is to bind tightly to the seed's precious minerals, zinc, calcium, and magnesium, and keep them locked away safely until the perfect conditions for germination arrive. Our blueberries, similarly, have their own protectors called tannins. These are the compounds that can give berries, tea, and red wine a slightly dry, astringent feeling in your mouth. They also have the ability to bind with minerals. Now, see what happens. You eat a handful of nuts and berries together. The protective phytates from the nuts and the protective tannins from the berries enter your digestive system. Inside this sacred space, instead of releasing their minerals to you, they can double down on their protective mission. They can bind to these minerals so tightly that your body cannot absorb them. The iron, the zinc, the magnesium, they are all physically present, but they are unavailable. It is as if they are in a locked pantry, and the phytates and tannins hold the only key. You have eaten the nourishment, but you have not received it. I once knew a man, let's call him Mark, who was a dedicated vegetarian. He was doing everything right. His breakfast was oatmeal with almond butter and berries. His lunch was a large spinach salad topped with walnuts. He was eating more iron-rich plants than anyone I knew. Yet, he was perpetually tired. He had a pale complexion, a persistent feeling of cold, and a mental fog that made his work feel like walking through water. He was deeply frustrated, asking, I am eating all this good food. Why do I feel so weak? Mark was eating from a full pantry, but the door was locked. The combinations of foods he was choosing were creating a constant, hidden blockade against the very minerals he needed most. The solution to this dilemma is not to fire these wonderful foods. The wisdom lies not in elimination, but in skillful partnership. There are two beautiful ways to unlock this pantry. The first is the wisdom of timing. Simply give the partners space. Enjoy your blueberries as a mid-morning snack. Then, an hour or two later, have a handful of nuts. This separation allows your body the time it needs to fully digest and absorb the gifts of one food before the potentially conflicting compounds of another are introduced. The second path is even more profound. It is the sacred ritual of preparation. For thousands of years, our ancestors knew that seeds were not meant to be eaten dry and dormant. They must be awakened. You can do this with a simple overnight soak. Take your raw nuts or seeds, place them in a glass bowl, and cover them with pure water and a small pinch of unrefined salt. Let them rest on your counter overnight. This simple act of soaking signals to the seed that it is now in a safe, wet environment. It is time to sprout, time to come alive. In response, the seed deactivates the phytic acid, releasing its hold on the minerals. When you rinse them in the morning, you will find they are not just wet, they are transformed. They are softer, sweeter, and their nutrients are now fully unlocked and available to you. This is the alchemy of the kitchen. It is how we, as conscious eaters, can participate in the miracle of our own nourishment. We can learn to work in harmony with the nature of our food, turning a hidden blockade into an open door. I would like to invite you into a quiet space for a moment. Imagine you are settling down for a deep and peaceful meditation. You have found a comfortable seat, you have silenced the notifications on your phone, and you have closed your eyes. You begin to follow your breath, the gentle rise and fall of your chest. The scattered thoughts of the day begin to drift away like clouds, and a profound sense of stillness descends upon you. Your mind becomes clear, open, and serene. It is a state of perfect, harmonious peace. Now, in the midst of that deep tranquility, imagine a door somewhere in the house suddenly slams shut with a loud, violent bang. What happens to your peace? It shatters. Your body jolts. Your heart leaps. Your nervous system is instantly on high alert. The delicate, beautiful state you had cultivated is gone in a flash, replaced by agitation and alarm. And as you try to settle back into your meditation, you find it is nearly impossible. The echo of that jarring noise reverberates through your whole system. The peace has been broken. This is a precise metaphor for what can happen in the quiet sanctuary of our digestive system when we introduce to seemingly peaceful companions who are not meant to be together at the same time. The first companion is our bowl of vibrant, antioxidant blueberries. The second is a cherished and ancient ritual for billions of people around the world. A cup of tea. The ritual of tea is for so many a meditation in itself. It is a moment to pause, to reflect, to find warmth and comfort. But hidden within the very structure of most traditional teas, black teas like Earl Grey or English breakfast, and even most green teas, is the source of that jarring noise. The compounds are called tannins. Tannins are the very soul of a strong tea's character. They are a type of polyphenol, just like the healthy anthocyanins in blueberries. But they behave very differently. They are what give a cup of black tea its beautiful amber color, its robust and hearty body, and that bracing, astringent quality that makes your tongue pucker ever so slightly. In the plant world, tannins serve as a form of protection, warding off pests and predators, and they carry this protective, binding nature with them into your body. When the tannins from your cup of tea meet the blueberries from your bowl inside your digestive tract, a subtle conflict begins to brew. In their protective zeal, the tannins have a powerful tendency to bind with other molecules. They are particularly attracted to minerals, especially the form of iron found in plants, which we call nanhim, iron. The tannins essentially wrap themselves around the iron molecules from the blueberries and other foods in your meal, making them insoluble. Your body's enzymes can no longer access them. The iron is physically there, but it is invisible and unavailable to you, locked away by the tannins. But the conflict does not stop there. Tannins can also bind to the very proteins you eat, causing them to clump together or precipitate. This makes it much more difficult for your digestive enzymes to do their job of breaking those proteins down into the amino acids your body needs for repair and vitality. The entire digestive process, which should be a peaceful and efficient unfolding, becomes disrupted and less effective. The peace is broken. I remember a kind and elegant woman named Eleanor who used to visit our community. Every afternoon at precisely 3 o'clock, she would perform her daily ritual. She had a beautiful porcelain teacup, a pot of perfectly brewed black tea, and a small, delicate bowl of fresh berries. It was her cherished moment of civility and calm in a busy life. Yet, Eleanor carried with her a constant, quiet fatigue. Her skin, though cared for, had lost some of its inner light. She felt her inner battery, as she called it, could never hold a full charge. She was doing everything right, eating well, sleeping her 8 hours, but she felt perpetually drained. The source of the conflict was hidden in her most beloved ritual. So, must we abandon this comforting ritual? Absolutely not. Wisdom is not about restriction. It is about finding a more skillful and harmonious way. The solution is simply to choose a more peaceful companion for your berries. You can explore the world of herbal infusions that are naturally free of tannins. A cup of rooibos, the red bush tea from South Africa, is a magnificent choice. It is robust and flavorful, yet contains no tannins to block your minerals. You might try the gentle, floral notes of chamomile, which not only avoids conflict, but actively soothes the lining of your guts. Or perhaps the bright, uplifting flavors of peppermint or a spicy, warming ginger tea, both of which aid digestion. For those who truly love green tea, there is an art to your brewing. The longer you steep the leaves, the more tannins are released. Try reducing your steep time to just 1 or 2 minutes. You will be rewarded with a cup that is lighter, sweeter, and far more gentle on your system. Or, you can always practice the simplest and most profound wisdom of all, the wisdom of timing. Cherish your cup of black tea. Let it be its own sacred moment. And then, an hour or 2 later, enjoy your bowl of berries. Let them have their own separate, sacred moment. For true harmony, my friends, does not demand that everyone always be in the same room at the same time. Asterisk, asterisk. Let us explore another story. Imagine you have spent days crafting a series of beautiful, life-giving letters. They are not ordinary letters. They contain vital wisdom, nourishing recipes, and heartfelt messages of healing for the people in the farthest reaches of your kingdom. The messages in these letters are essential for the kingdom's well-being. To deliver them, you have a choice between 2 messengers. The first messenger is calm and methodical. He takes the letters, places them securely in his satchel, and travels at a steady, mindful pace. He knows the terrain, he navigates it with skill, and he ensures that every single letter is delivered safely into the hands of its intended recipient. The kingdom receives the nourishment in full. The second messenger is frantic and full of a nervous, agitated energy. He grabs the letters, stuffs them haphazardly into his bag, and sprints out the door, believing that speed is the only measure of success. He runs so fast that he stumbles, dropping letters along the path. His water pouch leaks from the frenetic pace. He creates a cloud of dust and chaos wherever he goes, and by the time he reaches his destination, breathless and exhausted, only a fraction of the precious messages have survived the journey. The kingdom receives but a whisper of the original wisdom. My dear friends, when you combine a beautiful, nourishing food like blueberries with the intense, stimulating energy of coffee, you are, in most cases, hiring the second kind of messenger. To understand this, we must remember that our bodies operate in one of two primary states. The first is the rest and digest state, the domain of the calm messenger. The second is the fight or flight state, the domain of the frantic messenger. For many of us, the potent compounds in coffee, particularly caffeine, are a powerful chemical signal that sounds an alarm throughout our nervous system. It is a false alarm, but the body, in its ancient and unwavering wisdom, believes it. The signal says, there is an emergency. A tiger is on the horizon. And so, the body responds dutifully. It floods your system with cortisol and adrenaline, the hormones of stress. It diverts blood flow to your limbs so you can run or fight. It sharpens your immediate, narrow focus. It is a magnificent survival response. But in order to prepare for this perceived crisis, it must immediately shut down all services deemed non-essential. And the number one non-essential service during a tiger chase is the slow, deliberate, and resource-intensive process of digestion. So, you eat your beautiful breakfast of yogurt and antioxidant-rich blueberries, and then you drink your coffee. The frantic messenger is hired. Here is what happens to your precious letters. First, the journey is rushed. Caffeine acts as a prokinetic, which means it artificially speeds up the muscle contractions of your intestines. The food is propelled through your digestive tract at an unnatural pace. Your small intestine, the sacred chamber where the vast majority of nutrient absorption is meant to occur, does not have enough time to do its work. It cannot properly break down the food and carefully extract the vitamins, minerals, and precious anthocyanins from the blueberries. These vital nutrients are rushed past the gates before they can be received, ultimately being flushed from your system. The letters are dropped along the path. Second, the messenger's pouch is leaky. Coffee is a well-known diuretic. This means it signals to your kidneys to excrete more fluid. But it is not just water that you lose. You also lose vital water-soluble vitamins that are carried out with it. This includes the precious vitamin C from the blueberries, which is essential for repairing your blood vessels, building healthy collagen, and supporting your immune system. This diuretic effect can also contribute to chronic low-grade dehydration, which manifests as dry, irritated eyes, the very organs you are trying to nourish. Finally, the pressure builds. This constant state of high alert, this artificial emergency, can alter the delicate fluid dynamics within the body. For some individuals, this can contribute to an increase in intraocular pressure, the fluid pressure inside the eyeball itself. While 1 cup of coffee is unlikely to cause harm, a chronic, daily habit of creating this internal pressure can, over years, become a significant risk factor for glaucoma, a silent condition that can damage the optic nerve. I think of a man named David, a successful executive who lived by the mantra, rise and grind. His day began with a large black coffee, which he would drink while firing off emails, and a healthy bowl of yogurt and berries eaten quickly at his desk. He saw this as a high-performance routine, but by noon he was often wrestling with a knot of anxiety, a sour stomach, and eyes that felt gritty and tired. He blamed the stress of his job, but the true source of his discomfort was the chaotic, frantic inner environment he deliberately created every single morning. The path to wisdom here is not necessarily one of total abstinence, but of a profound shift in your ritual. The solution is to hire the calm messenger first. Wake up and give your body the gift of peace. Eat your nourishing breakfast in a state of quiet. Let your body receive the letters. Let the gentle process of digestion begin. Then, and only then, an hour or so later, if you still choose to have a cup of coffee, you can do so. By then, the vital messages are safe, and the frantic energy will not cause them to be lost. You may just find that the calm, sustained vitality you gain from a fully nourished body is far more powerful than the fleeting, frantic jolt you once believed you needed. Asterisk. My dear friends, in our journey together through these gates of wisdom, we have so far spoken of subtle conflicts, of gentle disharmonies, and of a need for balance. But now, we must turn our attention to a matter that requires a different kind of clarity. For there are some companions we might offer our beautiful blueberries that are not merely incompatible or ill-timed. They are, to speak plainly, saboteurs. They are enemies to the body's peace, and they must be understood not as partners to be managed, but as intruders to be lovingly, but firmly, shown the door. I want you to imagine that you have been given the sacred task of building a beautiful temple. This temple is your body, the home for your spirit for this entire lifetime. It is meant to be strong, resilient, vibrant, and full of light. Its walls are meant to be sturdy, its inner chambers are meant to be clean, and its gates are meant to be secure. Now, let me ask you, if you were given this sacred task, would you ever, even for a moment, consider building it with rotten, termite-infested wood? Would you construct its foundation with crumbling, defective bricks? Of course, you would not. The very idea is insulting to the purpose of the temple, and yet, this is precisely what millions of us are doing, often unknowingly. When we consume foods containing industrial trans fats, when we pair the pure, life-giving essence of a blueberry with a processed pastry, a store-bought cake, a fried snack, or anything made with shortening or most margarines, we are attempting to build our sacred temple with rotten wood. Let us be very clear about what these fats are. They are not gifts from nature. A trans fat is not a fat that you can find in an avocado, a nut, or an olive. They are born in a factory. They typically begin as liquid vegetable oils, but are then subjected to an intense industrial process called partial hydrogenation. This process twists and deforms the natural structure of the fat molecules, forcing them to become solid at room temperature. They are what I call ghost fats, or Frankenstein fats, because they are specters of real food and natural, distorted, and fundamentally unrecognizable to the deep, ancient wisdom of our bodies. Companies use them for one reason only: they are cheap, and they give products an unnaturally long shelf life. When you eat these ghost fats, your body, in its earnest desire to build and repair itself, does not know what to do. It tries to use them as building materials, Every single cell in your body, trillions of them, is surrounded by a delicate membrane made of fats. This membrane is the cell's skin, its gatekeeper, and its communication device. When your body is forced to build these membranes from the rotten wood of trans fats, the resulting cell walls are stiff, leaky, and dysfunctional. They cannot properly receive nutrients. They cannot efficiently export waste. They cannot clearly communicate with their neighboring cells. This is the very foundation of cellular disease. But the devastation does not end there. These unnatural, deformed fats are immediately recognized by your immune system as hostile invaders. This triggers a massive, systemic inflammatory storm. Throughout your body, it is a constant, low-grade state of emergency. Now, consider our humble blueberry, which arrives with its beautiful, calming, anti-inflammatory gifts. When you eat a processed blueberry muffin, you are asking that blueberry's gentle, cooling nature to go into battle against a raging firestorm of inflammation. The goodness of the berry is extinguished in an instant. It is like trying to use a single drop of rain to put out a forest fire. I think of a woman named Linda, a loving grandmother who was trying to make healthier choices for herself and her family. She avoided candy and soda, but for a sensible breakfast, she would often have a store-bought muffin or a piece of toast with margarine, thinking it was a better choice. She would add fresh blueberries, believing she was creating a healthy meal. But let us see what was truly happening. The pure blueberries would enter her system, ready to offer their gifts. But they were immediately followed by a wave of trans fats from the partially hydrogenated oil in the muffin. A war began. The blueberries' antioxidants were sacrificed in the first moments of battle against the inflammation. The corrupted fats, meanwhile, were sent off to be used as building materials for her cells, her arteries, her brain. She was, with the best of intentions, tearing down her own temple while believing she was nourishing it. The solution here, my friends, is not moderation. It is not balance. The solution is complete and loving elimination. The saboteur has a name, and you can find it. I invite you to become a gentle detective. Look on the ingredient list of packaged foods. If you see the words partially hydrogenated oil, you have found the ghost fat. Even if the front of the box says Z-trans fat, a loophole in labeling laws allows. This, if the amount is below a certain threshold. Those words are on the ingredient list. The saboteur is in your food. Your body is not a receptacle for industrial waste products. It is a living, breathing temple. It deserves the finest materials. I invite you to make one of the most profound and loving choices you can make for yourself, to banish these ghost fats from your home and your life forever. Choose instead the life-giving fats that nature has provided. Build your temple with the creamy, nourishing fat of the avocado, the rich, intelligent fats of walnuts, almonds, and seeds, the golden, anti-inflammatory gift of pure olive oil. Choose materials worthy of the sacred life that dwells within you. We have spent much time together exploring the nature of the foods we eat, the beautiful synergies, and the subtle conflicts that can arise between them. We have honored the physical ingredients we bring into the temple of our body. But now we must turn our focus inward and ask a more fundamental question. We have spoken of the temple, but who is its master? We have spoken of the ingredients, but who is the alchemist? Let me share with you a story from the ancient texts of wisdom. Imagine two master alchemists, both known throughout the land for their skill. They are brought into two identical laboratories and are each given the exact same set of rare and precious ingredients. a measure of pure gold dust, a vial of dew collected at dawn from a sacred flower, and a handful of rare mountain herbs ingredients. As pure and full of potential as our vibrant blueberries, their task is the same: to create the legendary elixir of life. The first alchemist sets to work with a frantic, agitated mind. He is consumed by his desire for the result. He worries about failure, he frets over the time, and he grows impatient with the slow, deliberate process of his craft. He handles the precious ingredients with haste, banging his beakers and muttering, in frustration when things do not proceed as he expects. His laboratory fills with the dark, acrid smoke of his own anxiety. And at the end of the day, when he pours out the contents of his vessel, all he has created is a dark, useless sludge. The potential of the ingredients has been utterly destroyed. The second alchemist enters his laboratory and begins his work in a different way. Before he touches a single ingredient, he first quiets his own mind. He stands in silence, honoring the space and the sacred task before him. He handles each ingredient with reverence and gratitude, aware of the miracle he holds in his hands. His movements are a graceful, focused meditation. He is not attached to the outcome. He is completely devoted to the beauty and integrity of the process itself. His laboratory is filled with a gentle, fragrant steam and a sense of profound peace. And at the end of the day, when he pours out the contents of his vessel, what emerges is a shimmering, golden liquid that radiates with vitality, the true elixir of life. The ingredients were the same. The laboratory was the same. The only difference was the consciousness of the alchemist. My dear friends, you are the alchemist, and your body is the sacred alchemical chamber. Every meal you sit down to is an alchemical procedure, a sacred opportunity to transform the physical matter of food into the immaterial essence of life force, vitality, and consciousness. But for this miracle to occur, the alchemist must be in a state of peace. What happens when the alchemist is in a state of turmoil? We have spoken of the fight or flight response, but the tiger that triggers it is not always a cup of coffee. More often, the tiger is born within our own minds. It is the angry email you just read. It is the worry about a bill you have to pay. It is the argument you are replaying in your head. It is the disturbing images from the evening news. When you bring this inner storm to your meal, you are no different from the frantic, frustrated alchemist. In this state of stress, your body's first command is to shut down digestion. Blood, full of oxygen and energy, is shunted away from your stomach and intestines to your limbs. The production of essential hydrochloric acid in your stomach ceases. Your pancreas withholds the digestive enzymes needed to break down carbohydrates and proteins. Your gallbladder does not release the bile required to digest fats. The entire alchemical laboratory goes dark. And so, the beautiful, life-giving food you have prepared, the blueberries, the oats, the greens, sit in a cold, dark, and inert stomach. It cannot be transformed. Instead, it begins to putrefy and ferment, creating gas, indigestion, bloating, and acid reflux. Have you ever eaten a meal during a difficult conversation and felt a rock in your stomach afterward, regardless of what you ate? That is the feeling of failed alchemy. It is the sludge in the bottom of the beaker. You have eaten a perfect meal, but you have digested a storm of your own creation. The solution, then, is the most profound and simple one of all. Before you begin the work of eating, you must first prepare the alchemist. Before the first bite of food touches your lips, I invite you to learn this simple, sacred invocation. Put down your fork, place your hands gently in your lap, and close your eyes. First, take one long, slow breath in, and as you breathe out, consciously release the day you have just lived. Let it go. Then take a second deep, slow breath in, and as you breathe out, consciously release the future you are worrying about. Let it be. Finally, take a third, even deeper breath in, and as you breathe out, allow yourself to arrive fully in this present moment, in this chair, before this gift of nourishment. This simple 3-breath ritual is a powerful signal to your entire nervous system. It directly stimulates the magnificent vagus nerve, which acts as a bridge between your brain and your gut. These 3 breaths are a message sent across that bridge, telling your body to switch off the frantic fight or flight alarm and to enter the peaceful, receptive state of rest and digest. In this state, the laboratory lights up, the fires are gently kindled, and the chamber is made ready to receive its precious gifts. The most important ingredient you bring to every meal is not on your plate. It is the peace in your heart. You are the alchemist. Prepare yourself first, and you will discover how to turn even the simplest food into gold. Let us now turn from the path of caution to a path of joyful celebration. For if there are food pairings that create conflict, there are also those that create the most beautiful and profound harmony. These are the partnerships where the whole becomes far greater than the sum of its parts, where 1 + 1 does not equal 2, but 3 or even 4. This is the principle of synergy. To understand it, I want you to imagine we are back in our garden, and we are building a stone wall to protect it. In your one hand, you hold a beautiful, smooth, bluish-purple stone, polished by the elements and vibrant with color. It is lovely to look at and cool to the touch. This is our blueberry, full of life-giving antioxidants and protective qualities. In your other hand, you hold a different kind of stone. It is humble, earthy, and unassuming. It is not as flashy as the first, but you can feel its dense, resilient strength. This is our whole oat. Separately, they are both fine and worthy stones. You could place them in the garden, and they would be lovely. But when you fit them together into the wall, something magical happens. The unique, rounded shape of the blueberry settles perfectly into the solid, supportive form of the oat. The strength of one complements the beauty of the other. Together, they create a structure that is immensely strong, balanced, and far more resilient than either stone could ever be on its own. They are in synergy. This is the secret behind one of the most powerful, grounding, and deeply nourishing food pairings we can invite into our lives: blueberries and whole oats. This partnership is so profound because it directly addresses and harmonizes some of the very conflicts we have already discussed. Do you remember our lesson on the sticky river, and how a rush of sugar can overwhelm our system, leading to inflammation and damage? The whole oat is the perfect antidote. And do you recall our discussion of energetic temperature, how the cooling nature of the blueberry can sometimes chill our digestive fire? The humble oat provides the perfect, gentle, warming balance. The secret to the oat's power lies deep within its humble form. Within each grain lives a special kind of soluble fiber called beta-glucan. It is a quiet but mighty worker. When you cook your oats with water, this beta-glucan awakens and forms a soothing, viscous gel in your stomach and intestines. This gel is a miracle of regulation. It physically slows down the digestion of carbohydrates, which means the natural sugars from the blueberries and the oats themselves are released slowly and steadily into your bloodstream. There is no sudden spike, no frantic rush of sugar, and therefore no crash. The sticky river becomes a calm, gently flowing stream. This gel also has another beautiful function. It gently binds to old, excess LDL cholesterol in your digestive tract and lovingly escorts it out of your body, helping to keep your arteries clean and clear. But the oats gifts do not end with its fiber. It is also rich in essential minerals like manganese and B vitamins. In our alchemical laboratory, these are the indispensable helper tools. Your body can be given the most wonderful ingredients, like the powerful antioxidants in blueberries, but it needs these cofactors, these tiny helper keys to unlock their full potential. The B vitamins are essential for the complex process of converting your food into true cellular energy, or ATP. The manganese is a critical key needed to activate enzymes that protect you from oxidative stress. So, the oats not only provide their own strength, but they help the blueberries do their own job even better. I think of a man named Arthur, a kind man in his late 60s who was struggling with his energy. He was trying to be healthy, so he would start his day with a large bowl of mixed fruit. He loved the sweet taste and the quick burst of energy it gave him. But like clockwork, an hour or two later, he would hit a wall. He would feel shaky, irritable, and so overcome with fatigue that he would need to lie down. His energy was on a wild roller coaster. A wise friend suggested he try something different. Instead of fruit alone, she told him to try a simple bowl of old-fashioned oatmeal and to put his fruit on top of that. Arthur was skeptical, but he tried it. And for the first time in years, he experienced a morning of steady, stable, and calm energy. There was no spike, and there was no crash. He felt grounded, nourished, and clear-headed all the way until lunchtime. He had not just eaten a meal. He had built a foundation for his day. He had discovered the power of synergy. I invite you to experience this for yourself. And in doing so, I must ask you to turn away from the imposters, the little packets of instant oatmeal, which are often filled with sugar and stripped of their life force. Choose instead the simple, honest bag or canister of rolled oats or steel-cut oats. The process of preparing them is a meditation in itself. Combine 1 part oats with 2 parts water in a pot. Add a tiny pinch of salt to awaken the grains, earthy flavor, and a sprinkle of cinnamon, our warming friend. Stir it with intention as it gently cooks. Then, pour the creamy, warm porridge into your bowl, and only then top it with your blueberries, allowing their coolness to perfectly balance the warmth of the oats. This bowl is far more than just breakfast. It is a profound lesson in harmony. It is strong and gentle, warming and cooling, complex and simple all at once. It is the perfect wall for your inner garden. In our journey so far, we have spoken of the river, the climate, and the very soil of our inner world. Now, let us turn our attention to the inhabitants of this world. For a garden is never just soil and plants. A healthy garden is a teeming, vibrant ecosystem. It is alive with a community of billions of tiny, invisible workers, the earthworms that aerate the soil, the bees that pollinate the flowers, and the beneficial microbes in the earth that transform minerals into a form that plants can absorb. A thriving garden is a bustling, harmonious community. My dear friends, your digestive system, your gut is exactly the same. Within the sacred chambers of your intestines lives a vast and intricate community of trillions of microorganisms. This is your microbiome. For too long, in our modern world, we have been taught to fear bacteria, to see them as enemies, to be sterilized and eliminated with harsh soaps and medicines. But the ancient and profound truth is that the vast majority of these inner inhabitants are not our enemies. They are our most ancient, trusted, and essential allies. Think of them as the master gardeners of your inner landscape. They are a living culture, a community that works tirelessly on your behalf, day and night. They help you break down the food you cannot digest on your own. They skillfully manufacture essential vitamins right inside of you, like vitamin K and many of the B vitamins. They are in constant communication with your immune system, teaching it to be balanced and wise, to be strong against true threats, but calm with harmless substances. They even produce neurotransmitters that directly influence your mood and mental clarity. Your well-being is inextricably linked to the health and happiness of this inner community. But what happens when this community is weakened? In our modern lives, it is very easy for this delicate ecosystem to fall out of balance. A course of antibiotics, a period of high stress, a diet filled with processed foods and sugar, all of these things can be like a fire or a flood sweeping through your inner garden, wiping out many of your most beneficial inhabitants. When this happens, a state of disharmony occurs. And in this state, even if you are eating the most wonderful, nutrient-rich foods, your body cannot receive their full gifts. You can plant the most beautiful seeds, but if the gardeners are not there to tend the soil and help the roots of the plant absorb the nourishment, the plant simply cannot thrive. You can eat all the antioxidant-rich blueberries in the world, but if your inner community is not healthy enough to help you absorb their benefits, many of their gifts will be lost. This is where the ancient wisdom of fermented foods comes to our aid in the simple and beautiful form of natural, unsweetened yogurt. A pure, well-made yogurt is not just a food. It is a delivery system. It is a vessel carrying new, beneficial citizens probiotic bacteria like lactobacillus and bifidobacterium to come and lovingly repopulate your inner garden. They arrive like helpful reinforcements, ready to get to work. They help restore balance to the community, crowd out less helpful microbes, and strengthen the health of the entire ecosystem. They are the gardeners, returning to tend the soil. I remember a woman named Carol who came to our community seeking guidance. She was a picture of health on the outside, a dedicated eater of salads, vegetables, and fruits. Yet, she was plagued by a persistent and frustrating digestive unease. She suffered from unpredictable bloating, a feeling of heaviness after meals, and a sense that her food just wasn't sitting right. As a result, her energy was never optimal. Someone suggested a simple, daily practice, a small bowl of plain, unsweetened live culture yogurt. She was skeptical. How could something so simple make a difference? But she tried it, and slowly, week by week, a profound shift occurred. The bloating began to subside. Her digestion felt more calm and regular. And most surprisingly to her, she felt a new level of clarity and sustained energy. It's as if, for the first time, she told me, my body is actually receiving the good food I have been giving it all these years. The gardeners have finally arrived to do their work. This harmonious partner brings another great gift as well, especially when paired with blueberries. The gift of high-quality protein. This protein acts as a gentle brake on the absorption of the natural sugars from the blueberries, ensuring a slow, steady release of energy into your bloodstream and preventing the sticky river effect. This protein also brings a deep sense of satiety, helping you to feel full and nourished, which prevents overeating. And finally, these proteins are the very building blocks your body uses to repair and maintain its sacred tissues. including the delicate muscles and nerves of the eye. So I invite you to welcome this living culture into your life. When you are in the store, become a gentle detective. Seek out the simple, plain, unsweetened yoga, teether, regular or Greek style. Turn the container over and look for the magic words, live and active cultures. This is your guarantee that the gardeners are home. Gently steer clear of the brightly colored yogurts that are more like sugary desserts. Then, take this living food, this community in a bowl, and top it with your fresh blueberries. In this simple, delicious act, you are not just feeding yourself. You are consciously and lovingly nourishing the trillions of silent partners who work tirelessly for your well-being. You are tending to the health of your entire inner world. Let us now speak of protection. Imagine, for a moment, that you are the guardian of a priceless and irreplaceable jewel. This jewel is not made of diamond, sapphire, or ruby. It is infinitely more precious. It is the jewel of your eyesight, miraculous, sacred gift that allows you to witness the faces of your loved ones, the vibrant colors of a sunset, the intricate dance of leaves in the wind, and the wisdom held within the words on a page. If you were entrusted with such a treasure, would you not seek to protect it with the greatest care? Would you not assemble the most skillful and dedicated team of guardians imaginable to stand watch over it, day and night? Of course you would. And the beautiful truth is that you can assemble this elite team on your very own plate every single day. You do this by forming a sacred and powerful partnership, what I call the Green Alliance. This alliance is formed between our steadfast guide, the blueberry, and the noble and humble family of leafy green vegetables, the deep, rich green of spinach, the hearty and resilient kale, the delicate nature of Swiss chard, and their cousins. While each of these foods is a powerhouse of nourishment on its own, when they are brought together, they create a comprehensive, multi-layered defense system for the eyes that is truly a marvel of natural synergy. Let us meet the members of this elite team and understand their specific roles. First, from the heart of the leafy greens, come the two most specialized guardians, the twin protectors, lutein and zeaxanthin. These are two remarkable carotenoid antioxidants whose mission is so specific, it is breathtaking. Upon entering your body, they travel directly to your eyes and accumulate in a tiny, critical spot in the very center of your retina, called the macula. The macula is the part of your eye responsible for your sharpest, most detailed, high-definition color vision. It is what allows you to see a friend's expression clearly from across the room. Lutein and zeaxanthin take up their post here, and their job is to function as your body's own internal sunglasses. They physically absorb and filter out the most damaging high-energy wavelengths of light, the harsh blue light from the sun, and, in our modern world, from the ever-present glow of our digital screens before, this light can strike and damage the delicate photoreceptor cells. They are the vigilant sentinels, standing guard at the most vulnerable gate. While these twin guards protect the macula from the assault of external light, our friend the blueberry arrives to protect the eye from within. The deep purple in the blueberries are the guardians of the vascular system. Their mission is to maintain the strength, flexibility, and integrity of the vast network of tiny blood vessels and capillaries that bring life-giving oxygen and nutrients to the entire retina. A healthy retina has one of the highest metabolic demands in the entire body. Its need for pristine blood flow is immense. The blueberry ensures the supply lines are strong and clear. But the alliance has even more members. From the beta present in the greens, your body skillfully creates vitamin A, who we can call the diligent night watchman. Vitamin A is essential for producing a pigment called rhodopsin, which is what allows your eyes to adapt and see in low light conditions. Without the night watchman, the world goes dark when the sun goes down. From both the greens and the berries comes the master mason of the eye, vitamin C. Vitamin C is absolutely critical for synthesizing and maintaining collagen, the strong, flexible connective tissue that literally holds the physical structure of your eye, like the cornea and sclera, together. It is the mortar that keeps the temple walls strong. And we cannot forget the quiet peacekeeper. Vitamin K, found in abundance in kale and other greens. Its role is to help regulate a healthy inflammatory response, preventing the kind of chronic, low-grade inflammation that can damage the eye's delicate tissues over time. I think of a woman named Susan, who spent her days working in front of a bright computer screen. By the end of each day, her eyes would ache. She felt a gritty dryness. Her vision would seem to blur, and a deep worry began to grow in her heart that she was using up her precious eyesight. She felt helpless against the demands of her modern life. A friend shared with her this idea of the Green Alliance. So, Susan began a simple daily ritual. Each morning, she would make a smoothie with a large handful of fresh spinach, a cup of wild blueberries, and half an avocado for healthy fats to help absorb the nutrients. It was not an overnight miracle, but slowly, gently, over the course of a few weeks, she began to notice a change. The achiness at the end of the day began to subside. The feeling of dryness lessened. More than anything, her fear was replaced by a sense of proactive hope. She was no longer a passive victim of her circumstances. She was the active general, assembling a team of guardians every morning to protect and nourish her vision. I invite you to form this sacred alliance for yourself. It is simpler than you imagine. It can be a morning smoothie, just like Susan's. It can be a visionary salad for lunch, with a bed of fresh greens, topped with blueberries, walnuts for their healthy fats, and a simple vinaigrette. It can be as simple as adding a handful of chopped kale to your soup or wilting some spinach into a savory dish. Protecting your vision does not require a single magic pill. It requires a team, a synergy of guardians working together. Every time you combine these foods, you are consciously dispatching the most elite protectors to stand guard over the irreplaceable jewel of your sight. We have now journeyed together through 10 gates of wisdom. We have explored the rivers and the climates within. We have met guardians and alchemists, and we have learned the art of creating harmony on our plates and in our minds. Now, we arrive at the 11th and final gate. This gate is perhaps the widest and most profound, for it asks us to lift our gaze from our own bodies and look out at the wider world. It asks us to understand a law that transcends any single food or combination, the sacred law of season and place. I would like you to imagine a magnificent symphony orchestra. This orchestra is the living spirit of nature itself. It does not play just one piece of music, but a grand symphony with 4 distinct movements, each one known as a season. The first movement, Spring, is a light and airy presto full of crisp new notes and a quickening tempo. The second, Summer, is a vibrant and grand allegro, swelling with lush, expansive, and powerful energy. The third movement, Autumn, is a mellow and graceful adagio, a time of harvest and gentle slowing. And the fourth, Winter, is a deep, solemn, and grounding largo, a movement of rest, storage, and profound stillness. Now, imagine you are a musician in this grand orchestra. Your body is your beautiful, finely tuned instrument. The music you are meant to play is the music of your own life. The secret to a beautiful performance is to play your instrument in perfect tune and in perfect rhythm with the rest of the orchestra. What would happen if the entire orchestra began to play the slow, deep, and solemn music of winter, but you, the individual musician, decided to play a tune that was fast, light, and full of the high, expansive energy of summer? No matter how skillfully you played, no matter how beautiful your instrument, your notes would sound jarring and out of place. They would create a subtle, yet undeniable, disharmony. You would be out of tune with the whole. My dear friends, this is precisely what many of us do, with the best of intentions, when we eat in defiance of the seasons. A blueberry is a child of the summer sun. It is born of long days and warm nights. Its very essence, as we have discussed, is cooling, light, and hydrating. It is a perfect note in the grand symphony of summer, designed by nature to refresh and balance our bodies during the heat of the year. Our bodies, in their innate and ancient wisdom, are listening to the music of the seasons. In winter, as the days grow short and the air turns cold, our bodies hear the slow, grounding music of the Largo movement. They instinctively know it is a time for conservation, for building reserves, and for seeking warmth. We naturally crave the foods of winter, the dense, sweet root vegetables that have stored the sun's energy deep within the earth, the hearty winter squashes, the warming fats and proteins that insulate and sustain us through the cold dot. Now, see the conflict. Your body is trying to play the slow, deep music of winter, but you sit down to a bowl of fresh blueberries that have been flown halfway across the world from a land that is currently playing the music of summer. You are, in effect, playing a cheerful summer flute solo in the middle of the Winter Symphony's cello section. You are sending a deeply confusing, energetic message to your cells. While it may not cause an immediate illness, this subtle, chronic disharmony creates an underlying stress. Your body receives the cooling, expansive energy of summer fruit while it is actively trying to conserve heat and ground its energy for winter. This is the deepest kind of imbalance. You do not need to study ancient texts to understand this wisdom. You need only to visit a local farmer's market. Go in the heart of July. What do you see? The market is bursting with light and water, the vibrant reds of tomatoes and strawberries, the deep purples of eggplant and our beloved blueberries, the juicy greens of zucchini and cucumbers. The very energy is expansive and hydrating. Now go back to that same market in the heart of November. The energy is completely different. It is dense, earthy, and grounding. You see the deep oranges of winter squash, the earthy tones of potatoes, beets, and carrots, the dark, hardy leaves of kale and collard greens, the sweet, heavy scent of apples and pears. The market itself is teaching you the lesson. Nature provides precisely what our bodies need, precisely when we need it. We have only to learn to listen. This is not a call for rigid dogma or a feeling of restriction. It is a joyful invitation to a deeper connection. I invite you to try a new practice. Go to a farmer's market, if you can, without a list. Go not as a consumer with a set of demands, but as a humble student with an open and curious heart. Ask the farmers and ask the food itself a simple question. What is nature offering me today, in this place, at this time? When you align your eating with the seasons, you will discover that food has never tasted so good. A strawberry in June, picked from a local field, warm from the sun, has an explosive, complex sweetness that a hard, pale strawberry in December can never replicate. That flavor is the signature of energetic rightness. It is the proof that you are playing in perfect tune with the orchestra. This 11th key is perhaps the most profound, because it invites us to heal not just ourselves, but our very relationship with the earth. It asks us to step out of the illusion of seasonless consumerism and to become graceful, conscious participants in the grand, beautiful symphony of life. When we align our inner world with the living world around us, we find a sense of harmony and rightness that no single food, no single supplement can ever provide. This is the ultimate destination of our journey, to find our right and beautiful place in the great dance of existence.